We have to get rid of this system. It's killing our country.
Why do people say that the immigration is broken? How can Trump fix it? What are the main challenges and can he really do it? That's what we're gonna break down in today's video. Did you know that according to the Gallup poll, 68% of Americans believe that out of all the promises that Trump made during the 2024 election, 68% of Americans are most confident in the fact that he's gonna keep his word on the immigration and fixing the immigration system in the United States. The main reason why Americans believe that Trump will fix the immigration over anything else that he promised during the 2024 election is because he really won the narrative war over the Biden administration and then over Biden campaign and Harris campaign. It's just simply because Trump is a better marketer and a better speaker. So in this video, we will break down the real challenges and issues that now he's gonna have to face to actually fix the immigration. And we're not gonna just talk about the mass deportation that everybody is screaming about. Specifically, we will discuss first the process that the immigrant goes through when they get to the United States. Then we will analyze the numbers that we're actually dealing with when it comes to the immigration, and we'll specifically take a look at the point of view how an immigrant looks at his immigration process and how does the system and immigration officers see the immigration process. Then we're gonna break down the top 3 main problems that Trump will have to face and fix in order to actually improve the immigration system. And at the end of this video, you guys will be able to make an educated prediction and a decision whether he's actually gonna be able to deliver on his promise or not. So let's get into it. But before we can get into the challenges that Trump will have to face during the immigration, let's simply break down what does the process look like when an immigrant comes to the United States. And in this video, we're gonna specifically talk about the immigrants that cross the border, because mostly Trump talks about the border crossings and fixing the border. The majority of immigrants that actually come through the border, they apply for the political or religious asylum. Did you know that in 2022 there was 800,000 applications filed for the asylum just on the US-Mexico border? That number skyrocketed 63% from the year before. So what is actually happening? When an immigrant crosses the border, whether he did it legally or illegally, an immigrant has a right to seek asylum. When he is seeking the asylum, that's when the application is filed. At that point, asylum is not granted or denied. The next step is the interview. Immigrant comes to the United States, applies for the asylum, and then he needs to await the interview. That's where the decision is going to be made if he's going to get the asylum or not. The caveat here is that while the immigrant is waiting for his interview, he is staying in the United States and he can live and work, do basically most of the normal stuff that any American can do here. Once the interview is scheduled and he has the interview, the interesting part is that even if the application is denied, if the asylum is not granted, most of those cases are sent to the immigration court. So there's another step to it. Here's what Donald Trump said himself about this process.
You know, if somebody sets a foot, just a foot, 1 foot, you don't need to, on our land, congratulations, you are now a citizen of the United States of America. Yes, we're going to end that because it's ridiculous.
Through executive action?
Well, if we can, through executive action. I was going to do it through executive action, but then we had to fix COVID first, to be honest with you. We have to end it. It's ridiculous. Do you know we're the only country in the world that has it? Do you know that? There's not one other country.
What about the legal challenge, inevitable legal challenges that'll come?
Do you know we have thousands of judges? Somebody walks onto our land, and we have to now say, welcome to the United States. They could be a criminal or not a criminal. We release them into our country. It's called catch and release. We release them into our country. Wait, just 1 second. And now they get them lawyers. And the lawyers are good lawyers. And everybody has a lawyer. And you know how many judges we have? Thousands. Thousands. Now, here's what other countries do. They come into the land and they say, I'm sorry, you have to go. And they take them out. Okay? With us, once they touch our land, we're into litigation that lasts for years, costs us hundreds of billions of dollars. We have judges, and I'm sure they're all honest, but I don't know that for a fact. You can imagine what's going on with the judges. But just so you, because I have a lot of judges. I tell you what, I know more about judges than any human being in history. Look, we have judges. Every time somebody puts 2 feet or even 1 foot on a piece of our land, it's welcome to long-term litigation. Other countries, every other country, when somebody walks on and they see that they're here illegally, they walk them off, they take them back to where they came from. We have to get rid of this system. It's killing our country.
So what's the problem? You seek asylum, you get the interview, the decision is made, in or out, maybe there's the court that's involved, the next step, boom, it's done. So why is it taking so long? Why is it broken? Well, the reason why everybody talks about the immigration, the system is not functioning the way it's supposed to, is because there is a backlog of more than 10 years of these applications and cases currently pending. Here's a crazy statistics. It's completely astonishing numbers and graphs that I'm gonna show you from DHS, Department of Homeland Security, that actually is the government body that regulates the immigration here. Okay, so take a look at this graph over here. This graph represents the applications filed and processed since 2014 to 2023. Basically, so the data for the last 10 years. The gray is the applications that are processed. The blue is the applications that are filed. So you can see, right, that every year there's more applications that are filed than processed. So there's the backlog that's building up, building up, building up, building up. Some years more, some years less, but you can see this very big number at the end of 2023. And this happens pretty obviously this happens because every year there's more cases that are being accumulated than being processed. So every year an immigration system has to deal with more cases that they haven't processed on top of the brand new cases, brand new applications that they have to apply. So if we put together all of these numbers here, then what are we gonna see in 2024? What are we gonna see in 2025? We're only gonna see more of these cases. First of all, more applications, but are they gonna process more than they did? Take a look at this information. And again, mind you, this is information from the official immigration sources of the United States. In 2020, from 2023, there's still 91% of cases that are filed are still pending. Only 2.1% are resolved, so they're being granted. The rest are either denied or they're going to the immigration court. In 2023, there was a discrepancy, 406 cases that the immigration did not get a chance to get to in 2023 alone. Now take a look at this here. This is again the status of these asylum applications. The red is what's being granted, this tiny little sliver at the bottom. Then other outcomes, meaning it went to the court or it's been denied. And then pending. You can see how pending is dominating pretty much the whole time. It's been dominating. Somewhere here we started making progress, and then something happened over here where this number completely went out of control. So that's where we are at the moment in the numbers, straight from the main sources of the United States immigration. Some might say, what does the immigration officers and courts do? Are they even working? Are they processing these cases or not? And the answer is yes. In 2023, fiscal year 2024, they actually broke the record for the amount of cases that they've been able to process and make a decision on. So between October 1st, 2023 and September 30th of 2024, there's been 914,000 cases that have come to a decision by only 700 judges. That's the busiest year and absolute record since they started to even track these numbers. Okay, so clearly we see that there's just not enough resources to process the volume of the applications that's coming in from the immigration system. There's just not enough bodies that are being thrown at the problem. to deal with it. But why is it happening? Let's take a look at how an immigrant sees his immigration journey and how the immigration system looks at that process. Okay, now, so let's draw a timeline of an immigrant. This is an immigrant right here. The immigrant, let's say this is the border. This is the border. The immigrant gets over the border and applies for the asylum. And again, whether he did it legally, whether he crossed the border legally or illegally, he has the right to seek asylum. So once he applies for the asylum, life gets much better because, you know, let's draw the trees. So listen, he gets the work authorization, the immigrant gets the driver's license, and that means that he can apply for a job. Life is pretty sunny. He can apply for a job, he can make money, he can open a business, he's gonna pay taxes, he can buy or rent an apartment. So basically he's gonna live a good, normal life. Now, while he's waiting for the interview, he looks at this USCIS immigration office where he actually has to go and do the interview. As a gamble, USCIS, that's where he needs to do an interview. And that doesn't look so good. It looks cloudy and rainy because here a decision could be positive or negative, and life is pretty good over here. So there is no big incentive for an immigrant to push his immigration process forward. I hope now you can see how this actually can prolong the process for the immigration system itself. Now let's take a look at the US government immigration. So here's how it looks on their side. Picture a table. There's a table, and each immigrant is a piece of paper. And that paper is being stacked on your table. Now picture 46.2 million of those pieces of paper on the table. How is that gonna look? That's gonna look like you're gonna be overflowing. You're not gonna see anything beyond this paper. 46.7 million is the amount of immigrants, foreign-born people that are currently residing in the United States. And there is 3.5 million open, pending cases just in immigration court at the moment. It's pretty clear now that the immigration system is not functioning properly just because it's overwhelmed with the volumes of the applications that are coming at them. And just like a clogged sink or just like a messy table, it's just impossible for any system to function efficiently when there is just such a backlog of work that needs to be done. My company, Our America, helps immigrants become United States citizens. And I am an immigrant myself, first generation immigrant. I came to the United States when I was 16. So I've dealt with the immigration officers and I know how they are. They're good people and they want to help. And most of them are immigrants themselves. And I know how they feel sometimes when they are working in that system and they really themselves cannot even offer a clear path and a solution for some of these immigrants that are stuck in the process, because there is a lot of immigrants that want to push their case forward and want to finish their immigration as well, but there's just not a solution there because of this overwhelmed, broken system that's happening. Like, imagine this. You are working, let's say, at the TV company that's making TVs and selling TVs. And you work there as a customer service. Every day you get calls from your customers that ordered a TV 8 years ago and it hasn't been delivered. Like, where the hell is my TV? The one that I ordered had a DVD player and nobody's even watching DVDs anymore. It's all streaming. So can you see how this may negatively affect the morale of the immigration officers and everybody that's actually working in the system? So this is the context that everybody needs to understand. And I'm sure if people knew more about the immigration, I'm sure that this Gallup poll that we referenced earlier wouldn't show this much confidence. Because again, I'm just going to repeat that out of all the issues, everything that Trump is going to deal with, the Americans were the most confident that he's going to be able to fix the immigration. Okay, so now let's summarize and take a look at the top 3 problems that Trump is going to have to deal with to actually improve this and, you know, change this situation that we're in at the moment. First of all is the extremely limited resources that need to be expanded. At the moment, there's just way too few judges that are handling the cases at the immigration court. There is only about 700 judges that process these applications and these cases, and we already know that they're doing it at the max of their capacity, breaking records and everything. But according to the Wall Street Journal, they need to go from 700 to about 5,000 judges to be able to meet the demand of the cases that are in the court currently pending. Now, again, on the same topic of the limited resources, we have way too few immigration lawyers. And immigration lawyers are also a very important tool that helps immigrants go through the process, because the lawyer, immigration lawyer, a good one, is going to ensure that the process moves efficiently and they're going to move the process forward without the mistakes, hopefully, and get the good results for their clients. Did you know that 5 years ago, 65% of non-citizens had the attorney representation in the immigration courts? And now this number dropped to only 30%. Another problem here is that if an immigrant cannot afford an attorney, an immigration lawyer, the court is not gonna offer him one. So that means the people that are least educated, you know, in the worst position to help themselves, cannot get the proper knowledge to actually go through the process. So the second biggest problem is the international cooperation. We know that immigrants from all over the world come to the United States to seek asylum. And Trump actually proposed something interesting. Here's what he proposed. He proposed a safe country agreement where the United States is going to take the application for the asylum seeker, the immigrant, but that immigrant is gonna wait for his interview outside of the United States in a third country, not in the country where there is danger for him, not in the United States, but in the third country. Let's say someone came from Mexico to the United States, we send them to Canada to wait for the interview. But it seems that other countries are not so enthusiastic as much as the United States to house and host these immigrants when they're waiting for the interview at the moment. And the third problem is the legal barriers. Trump already proposed, even before coming to the office, many different solutions and many different initiatives for the immigration, like ending the birthright citizenship, limiting certain visas, and even changing the laws for the asylum seekers. That, for example, if you come here illegally, you may not have a right to seek the asylum. But in order for him to get any of this done, he's going to have to go through the Congress and make constitutional amendments, which may take a long time. And also it doesn't help him that the Democrats are not helping him in this process. So the fact that he may be not even able to do it at all. So you see, this is a very nuanced subject of the immigration. And usually the news and even the politicians, they paint it in black and white, like good guy, bad guy. So like the immigration is good or immigration is bad. It's taking the jobs, or no, it's great for the economy. It's just way deeper than this. And there are clear big problems that we just discussed that must be fixed. But let's just think about it for a second. Like, why are these people coming here? Everybody that's an immigrant that comes here, he is looking for a better life, for a better future for him, for his family, and new opportunities. And when you get people like this, most of them have good intentions. When you get people like this that want to improve, that want to work, that have dreams, and you put them into any place is gonna get better with people with this mindset. That's why immigration must be straightforward and easier and faster to go through for any legal immigrant that's looking to have a better life in the United States. And I'm gonna play a part in it as well. A mission of our company, Our America, is to make immigration easy and straightforward for any legal immigrant that has an American dream and is ready to work for it. So like this video if you found it informative and got some value out of it. Please share it with someone who is gonna find this topic interesting. And if you want more videos like this and want to stay up to date onto immigration, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna have all of my sources linked in the description to this video. Until next time, God bless America.